Hey fellas, the weight of the world has taken too much out of me. The stock markets are crashing, everyone around me seems so much more negative, fear-mongering outweighs the hope of the world, and recently I had the final straw. So, let's talk about cannibalism. The average person holds over 120k calories when consumed. That's roughly the same as an entire white-tailed deer, wild boar, and sheep. There's a level of physical and mental turmoil that comes with the comprehension of consuming another creature of similar or equal intelligence. You have to be a truly sick and twisted individual, a psychopath, a despicable creature to voluntarily resort to such a misdeed with other sources of food surrounding your environment. Now, Pop-Tarts are a breakfast pastry that can be toasted and come in packs of 2 with plenty of flavors and ways to eat them. Boy howdy, we are about to witness man-made horrors beyond comprehension. Post-war era Americans developed an Icarus complex across the greater populace. We can assure this based on the 2024 film Unfrosted, based on the real 1960s events leading to the invention of the Pop-Tart. Testers spent months hoping to produce a delicious sweet treat, and then Jerry Seinfeld accidentally created sentient ravioli. We're dealing with some sick bastards. See, the problem with creating life of any sort, intelligent or not, is the establishment of the relationship. How is a greater society to function when exposed to a new life form that they have to perceive as a pet, a resource, a peer? To what end are we to expect these creatures to adapt? Will they submit to their expectations concocted by society surrounding them, or will they falter and resist? Kellogg's, located in Battle Creek, Michigan, is about to be responsible for a social hierarchy dilemma unbeknownst to such a case. The toasters are alive now. They know but one service: to pop the tarts, to increase the temperature of a specific breakfast item to the satisfaction of American school children and young adults uncertain of what they are capable of in the world surrounding them. Like this one toaster, Milton. He's a good guy who just likes being a toaster, doesn't know better. He was conditioned to be an appliance to serve a higher entity. And this isn't enough. As an attempt to better justify the existence of these pastry creatures, they must be cursed with the miracle of light. It is here, when you remove the crucial fact of existence that life is a diminishing resource capable of being given to all things, you have defied the world around us. You have created a morally dispositioned abomination out of boredom. One that knows not what it is, but that it shouldn't be, but it is being the bee that it has to be. The boxes are alive now. They roam in the jungle. They will stumble until they crumble to our plates. Plates to start the most important meal of the day. The most important not for who it's for, but what it costs to get there. It took life. Something we do on a day-to-day. At this point, they're farm animals at best. And Kellogg's takes it further. And so begins a contender for one of the worst things to happen in human history, until you remember some of the other things documented in human history in the past century alone. We don't need to be hyperbolic. The crazy good ads exist as a cornerstone of this modern day brand. They are, simply put, crazy good. This 2-word phrase has set the Pop-Tartians back over 45 years in social progress. Now, the term humanity is commonly defined as kindness, to show moral contemplation, not to remain oblivious to suffering around us, but to kill the ever-growing flames of anguish. And yet, it's also considered human nature, a definition I greatly hesitate to agree with in any regard. Pop-Tart commercials most prominently take place in the United States, Hungary, France. It's implied the rest of the world. It follows the human populace hunting down Pop-Tarts of equal intelligence, hell-bent on ending their lives because the general consensus is that their flesh is delicious. It's obvious that this is, to an extent, a problem of substance abuse. Pop-Tarts were introduced to these nations, and now their primary objectives are to find 6-foot-tall Pop-Tarts and eat them. They can feed an entire family for a week. It's just like your everyday human carcass. The problem is that it's only the Pop-Tarts that are burdened with this. They want to have their lives, but they can't because everybody else wants them gone, wants it ended, wants it taken care of. The tones of these commercials are meant to be silly, but in actuality conveying horrible, horrible truths about greed. No people see any issue with this. This one chick, like, eats a baby? What the hell are we doing here? This got through a team of writers, animators, executives, marketers. Not one person thought this was unnecessary to create, and yet here we are. And you might also notice that we gotta deal with not just people, but all kinds of species. A malicious poodle, a lizard wished to existence by a genie who's a womanizer, slimy POS, a kangaroo, and this one creature that has like a mouth-stomach thing. Like, there's gotta be something in the water. How do you end up like this in any capacity? Each and every one of them exists for the sole excruciating purpose of tricking Pop-Tarts to their untimely demise. Is there a reason for such a thing? Part of me considers how gullible these creatures are, but on another hand, I just feel guilty. For example, there's a collection of hide-and-seek commercials where they have to run and hide in fear of being eaten eaten. They can't enjoy holidays, vacations, parties, restaurants. All of that goes to every other species wanting to consume another. You might consider this merely an attribute of the animal kingdom, but to what level is the consumption of creatures able to verbally convey their pain, contribute to the workforce, be a statistic? Why is this acceptable? Why is this where the line is drawn in this world? The problem isn't the ways of the animal kingdoms. The issue lies within the intelligence of each respective creature. We have no problem eating chicken, but if chickens attain the ability to speak to us, there's an inherent problem. If they can express their pain, their fear, and their desire to live, would we change? Would we truly change? If we were able to communicate on an equal playing field, would we still eat them? The same goes with plants. If corn starts begging to be spared, then what sort of challenges come up? Then all of a sudden, there's gotta be a protest towards what's going on. Why would you give a product life knowing what the intention was? Perhaps the most blasphemous occurrences in Pop-Tart nature is when a carrot on a string is dangled in front of the whimsical little tarts. It's when they are falsely positioned in places of power just to be killed. It's when their dreams are crushed. It indicates that not even the strongest of them can survive what everybody else has in store for them. In interviews, when in elections, and when in debates trying to change the world, making a mark, getting a Hollywood star, it's mind-numbing destruction to any sort of hope, culture, and ambition as billions of creatures make it their sole incentive to prevent that. And only because they taste like strawberries and or s'mores. Imagine if every day you had to wake up with the knowledge that the most intelligent and advanced life, all life, even herbivores, even seemingly safe animals otherwise, want you gone. They want to rip you from limb to limb, eradicate your very essence, and then do their Snapchat streaks like it's nothing. That doesn't feel very good, does it? The worst part is, it just seems to be a thing done out of amusement. People work 9 to 5s and then wake up early Saturday morning only to go on a Pop-Tart witch hunt. Fun for the whole family! There's no shame, there's no joy in this sick and twisted Pop-Tart world and seeing others suffer for the thinly veiled silver lining that you're gaining something from it regardless of what's being taken in exchange. When this wicked woman eats a baby, she's not doing it because her life is in danger. She's not doing it for a life-changing sum of money for her entire outer family tree. She's doing it because she can, goddammit! Within a few short years, they're crushed, diminished, scrambling for a fraction of the equality all other species are privileged with. So where does it go from here? What do we do here? Can we do anything here? Nothing's gonna be done about it. So, the modern day, it seems that now the Pop-Tarts just have to exist to be eaten. The newer Pop-Tarts know it, going out of their ways to cease to be. They've been bred at controlled levels worse than pugs, regression to a level of gullibility laughable considering the fear-mongered Pop-Tarts of the past and the primitive creatures who once roamed. It was never a fair fight. You just watch and hold your head in shame knowing of what's become of this distinguished group in just a few short decades. The Pop-Tart Bowl was easily the worst of it. At this point, we aren't even hunting them down. We're openly encouraging and manipulating themselves to eradicate each other for minutes of attention. They've become a collective punching bag for everybody else. They've gone full circle and become the problem themselves. I feel like I'm the crazy one. Is it wrong to consider this distasteful? Just a fight to the death in a football stadium, just like Coliseum fights of old, except they're out with prisoners or gladiators thirsty for a violent purpose. These are pastries. And they don't know better. They've lost aim or purpose. I hate what it's come to. According to us, this face isn't worth an education or a chance to become a homeowner. Actually, fair enough. This is a fair argument toward the breakfast agenda going on. Like, I don't know. It just irks me. Like, rapidly evolved to equal life, and then once again revitalized and dumbed down to accept their fates. If man-made life is to exist as man-made life, it needs to be respected and regarded as an equal. Otherwise, we approach social issues I'm not at all qualified to answer. No hands are to be extended. No gestures are to be gestured. No smiles are to be shared. The fact of the matter is, it's a tale of conditioning that prohibits advancements made out of this twisted dilemma. The urges to satisfy hunger and cause destruction and violence to otherwise innocence has crumbled this society, and my frustration is as palpable as gum is chewable. The inherent and ironic lack of humanity in these creatures, a majority of which are human, is laughable. Why is it commonplace to believe human and humanity are antonyms? Will there ever be a moment of peace for this party of Pop-Tarts trying to find their footing in a world too steep and slippery to climb? My mind is running a mile a minute. My emotions are painted on a canvas too small to hold it all. The guilt latches onto me like a ball and chain that grows heavier by the moment. It is the most comedic light that shines a grim recontextualization. We're too arrogant to withhold and wallow. To be the other person, to treat others how we want to be treated. The mistakes aren't being addressed, they're being stuffed into a closet that is getting more and more crammed by the day. Sooner or later, it's gonna come pouring out and crumble down. This is about Pop-Tarts, by the way. The fact of the matter is, there cannot be change unless someone takes the steps to change the lack of change. To stare into the eyes that beckon back and fight against the winds that blow us back. For some, it may be a challenge, for others a necessity. But the Pop-Tarts, creatures too kind, too ambitious, too real for us to ignore, they do what they can. They may be molded by the harsh shackles chaining them from advancements, deliberate, societal, and scientific attempts to nullify their ambition. But the word humanity belongs to no person or party. It belongs to those who have earned it, those who rose from the ashes to at least attempt a greater purpose within this husk of a rock floating in space. And we're better than this. This can't be discussed without something to oppose. A coin is not a coin without two sides. Are you gonna be a lifeless shadow, or will you be the beacon who casts them? I've known love, I've known loss, I've seen grief, I've seen glory. There's mistakes and there's redemption. To change is to grow. It's not too late. Look at this imbalance of power in the eye and sail against the tides that come in it. There are objective flaws, but those imperfections can better us. They can be worked toward improvement. The efforts of human spirit has the capabilities to defeat whatever obstacles that approach. This is about Pop-Tarts. I await the day when a collective can cooperate in such a manner to make a worthwhile difference. The Pop-Tart people are one of many mistakes of our environment. Perhaps it's time to fix that. I would rather try and fail than stagger or question and wonder what if. Even an attempt is more worthwhile than giving up and wondering what could have been. So you know what? Hi everybody, I'm here on a cliffside and I'm hopeful of what's to come and how we fix the mistakes of our past. Because out of all of us, somebody has to. Somebody has to. Somebody has to. Oh, by the way, I have a plush on Makeship now. Check it out and have a good day.